All right, hi, I'm Roy Wetter with Good, Bad, and Ugly Real Estate Investment Show. The group that I run is Dragon Realty Investment Group, and we have a great purpose in life, and we have a grand why in what we do. There is something to be said for a group like this that actually is determined to make a massive difference in the world. And they think that I think we can definitely do it through passive income and through actually like the want and need to improve your life and to bring up your income. And actually, we're going to get into all of that in this video. It can be slightly dry because it's, we're reading off the actual purpose of the group and our intentions in growing and actually thriving in this world and bringing up the lower and middle class. We have those, those are exactly our purposes. We're trying to bring up the lower class. We're trying to bring up the middle class, bring them into a life of income and wealth. And we're doing it through an amazing setup of capabilities by providing a community. The community is already growing. We already got 5 employees, or not employees. We already have 5 laboring investors. We already have people working on it. We already have people investing money. It's already doing well. We're pulling between 20 and 40% ROIs, and we're doing it based on this community system that we developed and put together. And it's just amazing. If you can get through the dryness, you can actually get to the base of the information. Find out all the little tidbits on how we're reducing costs and improving our investment ROIs. Also, find out what it means to have grand whys in life. And I hope that you really enjoyed the video, and I hope you watch it to the end and really hope it changes your life. Thank you. Alrighty, this is Good, Bad, and the Ugly Real Estate Investment Show. But this is a little bit different though. So this is actually going to be for our real estate investment group, which is Dragon Realty Investment Group. And what this is the first time ever we're going to bring to you guys the exact purpose and idea behind the real estate investment group that we've created here. It's pretty inventive. It's pretty unique. And it has a pretty large higher purpose and or why. Which you'll get into here in a minute. And I'm just going to read this off to you. I've written it up over the past, while, and I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to go over exactly what it outlines, exactly what we are, and what we plan to do. How to take full advantage of the system our investment group has to offer to reach early retirement. That's the initial thing right there. You don't have to do any of the following to invest with us. But consider what your life might be like in a couple of years if you did. First off, it's very difficult for someone who has not gone through some hard times, been sick, of spinning their wheels, and built a little grit in their bones to jump into a life feet first, or to even consider it like this. It goes against many cultural norms and therefore seems completely unorthodox for someone to do so. If it was easy, everyone would be retired in their early 20s. The following may sound like the start of a cult, but believe me, I won't make you sell all your worldly possessions or take your money just to incorporate you into a world of slavery and servitude. So, not going to do that. That's not the part of it. Community, yes. Cult, no. Before we start, I want you to ask yourself, what are your grand whys? Grand whys are things that are your main purpose, but it's more than that. It's your question. It's the question why. Why? Why do you do anything? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you here? Why are you living this life? Why do you wake up in the morning? The grand why is your purpose in life. What you were placed on this earth to do. Having a grand whys are very important because they will become the driving force of everything. They are the driving force of everything. You get up in the morning, you go to work, and you earn money so you can earn a living, so you can take care of your family, or you can provide the life that you hope to have one day. Those are grand whys.
Maybe they're not the ones you should have. Maybe you have other ones that you plan on having.
And that's up to you to know what those are, and to have strong enough grand whys to be driven to succeed in those. The grand whys are very important because they will become the driving force of everything. Blue zones, as they are called in places on Earth where people live significantly longer than the rest of the world. It has been found that in these locations, the elderly are revered greatly and are sought out after for advice and guidance in close-knit communities. They are needed, they have purpose, and they have grand whys. The grand whys don't have to be important to anyone else. They don't have to be saving the whales or solving world hunger, but they have to be a few goals that matter greatly to you. Examples. Number 1, be present in the life of your family and raise children to have happy, meaningful lives. 2, be proud of yourself through early retirement and world travel. Little examples of what could be your grand whys in life. If you don't know what your grand whys are, I can help you out figure that out. There's certain things you can use to figure that out, and there's, certain things you can do to find people's patterns and what would maybe fit them as good grand whys, having struggles with that. So just let me know. All right, here we go. The nitty gritty. Life changes. Understand. So in this group, there's certain life changes that if you undergo, you're going to have a significantly better time and easier time transitioning into this better life or this community. And these are those life changes. Understand what liability and what is a liability and what is an asset in your life. A liability is anything in your life that only takes value away, gets you further from your grand whys. An asset adds value to your life. It gets you closer to your grand whys. Place everything, including material possessions, people, and activities, into these two categories. It sounds a little robotic, but at the same time, the very basis of truth is if somebody isn't beneficial based on the fact that they help, if they're not a benefit in your life, if they only cause heartache, pain, and ache, and they're just dragging you down and they're just dragging you away from your grand purpose in life, because they're not a good human being, and if they were a good human being, they would be a benefit to your life. It's cold. It sounds cold, but you don't have to listen. You just gotta. It's just part of the things came up with. Anyways, gain control of your finances. Where is your money going, and what is it? And is that going to get you closer to your grand whys? Wherever it is going, is it going to get you closer to those whys in life? Cut all liabilities that don't bring meaning to your life. Reduce your footprint to only the things that in life that truly matter in your why spectrum. Example, if you only take a boat out fishing every 3 months, sell it and use the funds to get you closer to your grand whys. Spending thousands of dollars and or having thousands of dollars wrapped up into fishing equipment and boats isn't really much if you can't afford to live a life where you can actually go fishing. And that's the whole purpose of that statement. It's not saying that you should sell the things you love and enjoy. It's saying sell the things that are keeping you from what would create a life that you would love and enjoy. If you're working 24/7 and so is your wife, and you never get a chance to go out on the boat, get rid of it. It's part of the things that's stealing your life away from you instead of giving you life. Use the above mentioned to reduce the cost of living as much as possible. One of the greatest ways to reach early retirement faster is to have a very low cost of living. To afford early retirement earlier, as well as using all the excess funds from your income to invest more often, compounding your results. Be inventive about it. YouTube has tons of information on how to do this. Examples: grow your own food. If you only have a patio, make it a hanging vegetable garden patio. Include your children in the learning process. It's part of the process of getting to a life worth well lived. A well-lived life is including the process in that life well lived. Get a deep freezer, and instead of buying all your meats from Walmart, raise meat chickens, pigs, cows, let them graze off the land. If you don't have land, find a friend who does, or just buy animals and take them to the butcher yourself. You could learn how to hunt. Do that too, right? Unless you're a vegan or something, then don't. It's up to you. Let's go and let go of keeping up with the Joneses. Pride. Sorry, I'll start that over again. Let go of keeping up with the Joneses' pride and get rid of your bad debt with a vengeance. I sold my nice-looking, slightly used car at a loss just to get rid of the payments. Buy a used, cheap car. Everyone always says, but I will have to pay tons of money for costly repairs. Learn to repair it yourself. Therefore, learn to repair it yourself. Through YouTube College, it's not as hard as you may think. And order parts off rockauto.com. That's another thing with that pride thing. If you're too prideful to be able to get out there and work on your own car as a man or a woman or a teenager, then that's going to bring you back and it's going to hold you down in life, period. Teach your children these skills. Did you ever realize that if you bought a car for $2,500, you could buy 10 of them for the price of one $25,000 car? I'm not even factoring in the fact that you're paying almost $10,000 in interest with a new car. That is a lifetime of cars for the price of one. Credit cards and bad debt loans. One of the largest questions is, do I use my extra money to pay them off before I start investing in real estate? Or do I invest in real estate and just keep making the payments? This is for only you to decide. It depends on a few different things, especially depending on your specific situation, based on your knowledge, and I hope you're gaining more knowledge as you go so you can make the better choice on that. Once out of debt, you think you can avoid slipping back into it without having to add... once out of debt, you think you can avoid slipping back into it without having that added pressure of the debt looming over you. I personally am not that strong. Honestly, I tried that method twice and it did not work. I went into more debt than what I originally started with. I also believe that compounding passive income reduces the issue of bad debt much faster than slowly paying it off. Example, your debt payment is $600 monthly on an amount of $30,000. With an average person out of college, $30,000 isn't a lot of debt compared to some of them. $30,000 in college, maybe it's credit cards and certain things like that. It's could be pretty normal. Monthly, the amount of $30,000, that could take half a lifetime to pay off. If you snowball your excess money into real estate for 3 years and build a passive income of $1,200 a month, which in real estate, it's very acceptable that you'd be able to have a passive income of $1,200 a month in 3 years. That's fairly slow, actually. Also, your debt would not grow with inflation. Oh, anyways, so yeah, you have your passive income after 3 years of $1,200 a month. That's double the amount you need to make those constant payments on that $600 a month debt of $30,000. Also, your debt would not grow with the inflation. Therefore, it would technically shrink as inflation goes up. But real estate mostly hedges against inflation. So passive income would be growing while your debt was shrinking. So if you don't really understand what that means, as inflation goes up, the worth of the $30,000 would actually become less and less and less, therefore reducing in value. But as real estate investments go up with inflation, they actually don't reduce 99% of the time, except for in one really weird instance where cost of living goes up, but income doesn't, which is really rare. Your income from those passive income is going to grow with the inflation as it goes higher. So your passive income is actually going to hedge against that inflation, saving you those losses. So that means that every dollar you're putting towards that debt is actually paying it off faster, and you're growing in wealth while you're doing that. It's pretty awesome little fact that most people don't really realize. All right. So that was, I hope you stuck around for that much of it. That was just the personal improvements that you really are going to greatly improve your chances with the real estate investment group, or that people will increase their chance with the real estate investment group. Now we're actually going to get into the nitty gritty of the real estate investment group, the Dragon Realty Investment Group opportunities. And this is how it really comes together. Become an investor means becoming a part owner in the company. Invest financially or in many other possible ways found in this document, as we'll get into right now. Move to location and become a physical laborer. Learn construction, the inspection process, cost estimation, and the house flipping process. Cost estimation for repairs, remodels, for the renovations of these properties. House flipping process, while growing your investment portfolio through a percentage of ownership earned per hour worked on the property. Low cost labor for work on these investment properties, avoiding costly contractors and overhead greatly, increasing our return on investment. So pretty much what that means is you're going to be working, if you're a laborer, which we have a few of them that are coming and working with us, we're going to have 5 here in the next few months. If you're a laborer, you're actually going to be earning investment into the properties as you labor towards those properties per hour. Yeah, and so that's part of it. Support yourself by working our handyman service. So we're starting a handyman service where we're actually going to be doing contracting for other people, and this will be primarily for the sole purpose of providing income for the laborers as they work on real estate property, building their portfolio to also earn an income enough to sustain themselves. Repairing current rental properties, working as a handyman through our handyman company. With this, we should be able to maximize our earnings based on the cost reduction in materials used on our real estate inventory system, or in our real estate inventory system, as well as the fact that the handyman service sole purpose would be to support the investment laborers and not for large earnings for our upper echelons in the group, increasing our ability to profit share and investment capital per labor. For profit sharing and investment capital per laborer, therefore raising the investment power of the community. So as I said before, this is a group, it's a real estate investment group. We don't have employees, we have investing laborers who have part ownership in the actual group. They earn passive income through hours worked, earning investment percentage of return. What this actually specifically means is that using investment laborers such as that, we're going to be reducing our costs by not having to hire costly contractors like most people. We're going to be having just laborers that we can support. We're also going to be reducing our costs because we're going to be using inventories that we use for our real estate remodeling, as well as our handyman service. So people are going to be getting a low cost product, high quality product with a lot of the finances going right back to the laborers themselves in order to sustain a decent income, but providing them with just enough money to give them a lot of time to work on real estate investment properties and building their portfolios. It all depends on how much they need to live on and what they can do with that. This takes a lot of personal effort and work to do well. Almost anyone can do well with it, but if you want to do well quickly, you gotta really be able to dig deep and work hard. All right. Lowering your expenses. Having an opportunity to live in real estate in progress properties. Having the ability to carpool and using cost-sharing methods on other living expenses, greatly reducing the cost of living and raising the investment capabilities per investor. So, we give you the opportunity to lower your expenses by living in the properties we are remodeling. So these aren't down to the bones. These aren't down to the bones like contracted like buildings. These are like what you're seeing right here. Some drywall work, some flooring, maybe changing out some of the instruments, doing painting. These properties are very livable, and if you would like, there's a lot of instances where we'll probably be able to have you living in these properties and able to reduce your cost of living footprint by quite a bit, saving a lot of money and being able to reinvest it into yourself and into the real estate. If you would like, you don't have to. As well as because we're a community and because we're a like-minded investment group, we're going to have a lot of people that really share the same values. And you'll be able to carpool to work. We actually have a work vehicle as well, and we're going to be getting more. And we'll be able to lower your cost of living based on those things that you'll be able to have provided for you or provided to you as an investor. Now, this actually seems, honestly, a lot like something that would really cater to somebody young coming right out of high school to get a great start on life, but it really doesn't have to be. Yeah, sure, it'd be great for that, but at the same time, it could be somebody 30 that just hit that rut. It could be somebody 30 that's making a lot of money, but says, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm spinning my wheels. Boom, you have this opportunity right here. All right, lower your expenses. Working in the wholesaling and acquisitions. Learn to find and analyze deals, utilizing creative finance, negotiate prices, all while earning percentage of ownership through commissions in passive income producing real estate. And all possible while being done from anywhere in the world, providing low cost acquisitions to benefit the community. So I say community, like I said, it sounds like a freaking cult, but it's not. It's literally just grouping together to lower cost and raise returns any means possible. So what this is pretty much meaning is that you don't actually have to be here to make money. Now, you aren't going to be able to make money during hour labor, which is a lot easier to just put in the hours and earn returns. But you'll still be able to do wholesaling and acquisitions, learn the process through working with us. And in that way, we teach you how to do it. You can go off on your own and do it on your own. Or you can bring us properties. We can cash you out on those properties and pay you for it. Or you can have the passive income percentage ownership in that property based on what you find and working the deal and actually locking it in for us. And you can do that from anywhere in the world. You need a computer, you need a phone. That's about it. Alrighty. Having the ability to anonymously vote toxic coworkers to other crews to maintain an enjoyable work environment, regardless of seniority or experience. After 2 times of being voted out of a crew in the period of a year, they will be let go. This should boost productivity immensely, producing the highest efficiencies and reducing the cost of investments for the community. So everything in this document can be adjusted, if it doesn't really work out. But what they have right here is we have a good way of just getting rid of toxic people, lazy people, and people that really just aren't cut out for being part of this community if they don't really want to be part of the community and part of this movement. What is it going to be? It's going to be a bi-weekly vote and a bi-weekly pretty much like you're going to rate your coworkers and your crew. And you're going to vote. If you want to actually vote any of them out, you can vote somebody out. And if there's if there's at least a 75 or higher percentage of people wanting this person to move to a different crew, or they just don't feel like this person really is working hard enough. Now, I don't want to hear anything about, well, he's just not good at it. No. If this person's not working hard enough, if they're not a good part of the community, if they're not somebody that you enjoy working with because they're just somebody that has a really bad attitude or somebody that really just doesn't want to be where he's at, this is the opportunity. You get to choose your environment for the betterment of the entire environment and to up the returns for the entire community. Now, because you get voted off the island and you'll get moved to a different crew. If that happens twice in the same year, then at that point you will get not fired, because we don't hire, because we're not hiring you. You're an investor. You won't get fired. You will get disallowed to continue to invest through labor and community activities. You'll still be able to find and acquire properties and earn investments through that way, and you'll still be able to earn investments financially. We're just not going to put you on any more of the crews. And that's it. Alrighty. Alrighty, so here's a little something, right? This is a little bit more about the environment that we're trying to create here. Enjoy living in a community of good, like-minded people. Create the world you would like to live outside of work life. With friends, you gain through like-minded goals and aspirations, all working toward their grand whys in life. Living with less stress looming over debt due to continuously growing passive income, with the game-like goal of reaching financial freedom. This should increase morale and raise productivity, providing for higher efficiency per hour work, lowering the cost of it per investment, producing a higher return on investment for the entire community. So as you can see, every one of these systems, not only is it created to get more money back to the people and create a better environment, but it's also created to bring back more investment returns, like return on investment per property, to really improve the organization. Having a flexible work schedule, unless working scheduled labor through the handyman service. Choose your own hours, your own work days, your own vacation days. This is not a job. It is an investment group of people working together for the betterment of the whole group. Start, quit, and come back whenever you would like. When working on the group's investment properties, it is encouraged to make the time as enjoyable as possible. We want work to be an enjoyable part of life. Looking forward to every day looking forward to every day as if already in a mini retirement stage of life. So we really want this to be an enjoyable time period. Obviously, there's a certain amount of as a handyman worker for people going into people's properties and repairing things as such, or putting down tile or anything like that. Obviously, there is a certain amount of you have to be there's a certain amount of professionalism and schedule keeping that has to be done with that portion of it. Now, obviously, as you build your passive income, you don't need to work on those properties and in that labor position, working for the handyman position, only until you really build enough passive income to solely work on properties in the real estate investment group. Only the people that don't have enough passive income really have to work on those handyman jobs. When they're working on the handyman jobs, there has to be a certain professionalism, and it might not be as enjoyable as when we're working on the investment properties, where we really have free reign to just kind of enjoy our day the way we want to. And I understand that some people think that this kind of an enjoyable lifestyle for someone who's laboring and someone who's working isn't really possible without getting horrible results of labor and people shirking off and not doing what they're supposed to be doing and taking their time. But it's really set up to prevent that, and you'll see that here in just a few minutes. Jumping down. All right. Earn your own franchise. So if you didn't know, this real estate investment group's goal is to actually franchise out. It's not to be a group that continues to grow and just hover over a large area trying to maintain control over many entities. No, the group that I am currently starting will actually end up being the hub for testing and improving the system. Same investors. We'll limit ourselves at a certain point to a certain amount of investors and workers and laborers. And we'll just keep improving the system and trying to learn how to grow and better our inventories. Well, people that actually grow up through the system and learn all the different aspects and have the ability to move on from our system with a franchise that we will just give them, with a certain percentage coming back to the hub or the top of the company in order to keep producing financial gains per property. they'll move out, they'll actually create their own group, and we're going to give them everything they need to do that and be successful. But as it'll be stated in here, earn your own franchise and make a big difference. Have the opportunity to learn all the stages of the process and earn a free franchise. Being able to then move to a different, personally chosen, yet approved location with the backing of the company, financially and intellectually, to start your own investment group. Take with you all the intellectual properties, as well as being able to use all systems and living inventory lists. So the living inventory lists are the hub of inventory that we update individually and as a group as we work throughout the day. So the managers have the ability to update it as they find products that are cheaper and better priced in different locations, and you can go in there then in the future, use that location to actually get the same product for the similar price. That way we keep our cost reduction super low, whether that's ordering it, going to your local store, anything like that. Wherever we're finding them for the best prices, it's going to be logged into our inventory log. Inventory list of where to get the most cost-effective materials. Where we will continue to thrive by being a community and sharing information, as well as experience and new ideas. Grow the community into your states and regions, increasing our footprint and our impact on the lower and middle class communities by allowing them to raise their standard of living. Now, this is the important part. This is the part that gets a little funky, but it's massively true. Grow the company into the states and regions, increasing our footprint and impact on the lower and middle class communities by allowing them to raise the standard of living not based solely on increased income, which can be corroded by inflation, and encourage people to increase their debts further, committing them to the life of servitude to the creditors. But instead, by lowering their cost of living, raising their knowledge of investings and self-sustainment, increasing their passive income, and urging them to lower their debt through community and like-mindedness, so they may succeed and raise the standard of living and reaching our goal of achieving our grand whys in life. So there you have it right there. That is the basis of it right there. We are looking to move into communities, and we're looking to raise those communities of lower class and middle class up, not by increasing pay, but by lowering cost, lowering debt within the community, and raising people's ability of self-sustainment and grouped investment knowledge. Because truly the knowledge of financial well-being and the knowledge of self-sustainment are massively important and definitely died out in the past 30, 40 years. And the rejuvenation of these ideas and this knowledge could really be super beneficial to the lower and middle class. It's a very odd idea to say that you're not going to raise their income to raise their standard of living. But if you can imagine just your own situation where you have two cars pulling in debt constantly or pulling in profits constantly, you have your home that cost you, $1,300 a month pulling in income profitably or pulling your income. That massive amount of debt is just drawing you down and bringing you into the life of servitude. Now, if as a community, if we could draw more people out of that and bring them into a community of passive income and lower debts, you can still reach the goal of being self-sustained and passive income to the point of being wealthy. You can be wealthy very easily. And once you reach that wealthy state, being able to have all those things that you could have had through debt. But instead of just like the debt that came along, the $30,000 debt that would have taken a half of a lifetime to pay off, you would not have those debts. You would only be able to buy those you'd be able to buy those in cash, or you'd be able to pay those debts off so much faster with your passive income that you were bringing in, plus your lower cost of living. It's a really interesting way that we can raise up the lower class and middle class without raising prices or raising income. How we maintain accountability. So this is one of the last things that's written on here. How how do we maintain accountability on our laborers, and how do we keep this whole thing in check where people aren't just taking advantage of the system? Well, here it is. It's pretty simple, but should be fairly effective. How we maintain accountability. For people who find themselves in our investment group who do not share our values, work ethic, or goals, the hours worked towards the investment percentage per property becomes less valuable as the number of capital funds grows. What that means is it's just a basic concept that if the amount of investment is this much to invest and your hour is worth a small cube of this, the total investment cost for that property, as it grows, as the cost gets more and more through hours of labor, or materials needed, or mistakes made, your work hour is becoming worth less and less and less. All of the hours you're working are slowly devaluing as the amount of cost raises in value. And that just doesn't hurt the laborers, that hurts the investors, it hurts the laborers, it hurts everybody who's involved, because it's going to cost more money to roll that property into cash flow, therefore lowering ROI for everybody. So it's a basic understanding that the faster we can flip these properties, the better we can do on lowering cost and lowering and being hardworking and developing a good product, the more money you're going to make continuously on your investments. Now, of course, that's not going to be enough for some people. Some people are going to be happy to just be lazy and not want to put in the work, even though they're lowering their investments. And we have a second situation for that. The hours worked. All right, I'm just going to keep reading this. The hours worked towards investment percentages per property become less value as the number of capital funds grows, which means that more costly the project, the longer it takes to remodel, the less your hours of work will be worth in return. And if this is not a set of enough, there is an anonymous bi-monthly ranking and voting system. If you are underperforming or people do not wish to work with you, they will have the right to vote you out of their crew. If you are voted out of the crew 2 times in the same year, you will not be fired. As real estate investment group, we do not have employees. You will, however, be denied the ability to continue investing through any means other than financially or remotely. So pretty much what that means is that if you're not a good fit for our labor force or our community of workers in some way, we're not going to fire you. You're not actually an employee. We are just going to reduce your ability to invest in those means, and you will be kind of like an outcast. You're going to be able to only invest financially or through one of the more remote means. And number 11, the final idea here: earn enough passive income to retire. Choose when you would like to stop working and or financially investing, and live off the passive income earned. So that's it. It's an awesome community where we use each other to help reduce costs and improve your profits of passive income. We move into franchising to get everybody to maintain control on a lower level. I don't know if you guys understand this, but with franchising, I run my own personal investment group. I own it, I run it, it's my baby. If it fails, I failed. If it's not doing well, it's because I didn't do well with it. It's only limited to a certain size based on the area in which you're working. If I wanted to grow that into a massive corporation, it would be a lot harder to absolutely keep control of that and keep managers in place that actually cared about what they were doing. But by franchising out to small groups that worked within cities, certain cities around the country, that investment franchise owner would then be able to have a lot more overview of his employees, or not employees, but investors, and he would have a lot more involved in wanting that to succeed. As well as being somebody who was raised up through an investment group already, we would have since the franchise would be free, The reason it would be free is because you would have already came up through our investment group, and you would have already learned all the steps and processes in order to move on as a franchise owner, kind of earning your right to own a franchise. As well as if you got to that point, you'd have a fair bit of passive income. Having that passive income, you wouldn't actually have to see a lot of profit from the group. You would actually be able to move into it without having to worry financially as you build your group in your area, raising the community in the lower class and the middle class in that area. There are excess profits that come to the top of the group and are at the capabilities of earning a side income for the franchise owner, which pretty much means that you can with the actual earnings from the investment group off the top of all the investments, which there is, you'll be able to actually pull a salary from that as a franchise owner, or hire employees with it, or really whatever you deem necessary from the group's investment, or not investment fund, but from the group's profits that come back to the company, or come back to the company itself. And that's it. That is the basis of what we're doing here. I hope you watched the entire thing. I really hope you got a lot out of it, and I hope that you really understand what this is all about and how it can really work out well in the coming years.